Good day, everybody. Hope everyone's doing fine. We are back again, back at it on Friday with some interesting news. And
Happy Friday.
woo, woo, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. There are some people celebrating the defamation result in former President Trump's world, but they're missing the big picture. But that's by design. They're dumb. They're not the smartest people. We have never claimed that the left were filled with brilliant people, like
No,
at all. They're not.
they're not.
They're not using faculties upstairs. So, from what we can tell, they missed the forest for the trees. Okay. So, we'll be back to talk about them in a minute and more specifically, Miss Fani and Fani Willis. Okay. So, we'll be right back. Y'all remember Robots? Y'all ever seen the movie Robots?
Oh, it was a long time ago.
iRobot or robot?
No, Robots with what's his name played one of them, the dead one, Peter Pan. What's his name? Robin Williams. Robin Williams played one of the main guys in it in the cartoon, and what's his name? Ian McGregor would play the main lead, and there was one of his aunts that he went to his house. She had one huge behind, and he called her Aunt Fanny, and that's how he always, when he got in the house, like Aunt Fanny. That's how he called her. Well, we're gonna talk about Fanny Boy
Big
Willis.
Shirley.
Yeah, Big Shirley,
Big Shirley.
Aunt Jemima wannabe. And there is breaking news about what's happening with her, and we'll get to that first before we get to anything else because we find this hilarious. So here you go. Get ready for the good news, people. This is good news. Very good news, actually.
Breaking news at this hour. The state Senate will now conduct their own investigation into allegations that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis had an improper relationship with one of her top prosecutors. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon live at the courthouse for us downtown. Doug, lay out today's developments.
Right, Tracy. Well, this was approved this morning. It will be made up of 9 state senators who are Republicans and 9 who are, 3 who are Democrats. They're going to have subpoena power, which is really kind of the rub here because that will allow them to demand documents and also testimony from people like Fani Willis and the man she is alleged to have been in that improper relationship with, her special prosecutor, Nathan Wade. So as we mentioned, that was approved by senators this morning. It was proposed just last week. So that process went relatively rapidly. What they won't have the power to do, though, is remove her from office. Instead, what will happen here is they will issue a report detailing their findings on that alleged relationship and any financial mismanagement of taxpayer dollars. It could lead to law changes and even a severe defunding of state dollars to Willis's office. We have a budget coming up soon. Keep that in mind. We also learned today that a Fulton County ethics panel will be conducting their own investigation into these accusations. And Republican State Senator Charlize Byrd introduced articles of impeachment against Willis also today, which Georgia State law professor Clark Cunningham says could be a real problem for Willis with Republicans having the numbers there.
The Georgia Constitution just says the House has the power of impeachment. So there's no definition. I would be surprised if the House doesn't pass articles of impeachment against her.
And Clark told us today there is one way for Willis to hold on to this case and make sure it stays in her office. He wrote an op-ed in the New York Times about it. We're going to pick his brain on that coming up at 4:30. For now, we're outside the Fulton County Courthouse. Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
Doug, thank you. Atlanta News First, giving you access to everything we know about this story. Text Fulton to 470-777 WANF.
Now, let's talk about that.
Okay, first off, let's establish some context here. So Nathan Wade is a personal injury attorney with absolutely no wins to his title whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. None.
And no cases won, nothing like that. And now he is a special prosecutor for RICO charging, and he's bringing RICO charges to former president, to Donald Trump, basically. And guess how much Fani is paying this guy?
$20 million.
$670,000. And he has taken her on multiple trips. He has taken her, not she taken him. He has taken her on multiple trips with that same money. It's kind of like they have a trend. Like they'll give money to the people, they want to give money back to them. It's like that's a form of laundering in case we go over. Okay? That's laundering. You're just not giving the money directly to yourself, but you give it to a surrogate, and the surrogate ends up treating you properly, the way you wanted to be treated by the taxpayer anyway. And then lo and behold, there you go.
He definitely treated her.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Rearranging her spirit.
Yeah,
And
her spirit animal. Her spirit animal.
oh man,
He's delving for gold.
yes,
And not quite sure he found, and he probably found a lot of the brown stuff, but not gold.
a lot of schmegma.
That's about it. The biggest issue with this is that if this does come down to where she is impeached and they do find impropriety with what she was doing, the entire case against Trump and Rico goes bye-bye. And they can't even try him because all of her information came based on something biased. So they're without any kind of thing to go against. So right then and there, they've just given him a boost to his campaign, regardless of what they try to do from here on out.
Oh yeah.
Even inside in the light of him having to pay the 86, I think, or $84 million to the crazy lady that doesn't know what rape actually is.
Yeah.
I want people to put this into perspective, okay? So Donald Trump is worth right now, down $1 billion, by the way, from before he became president. He is now worth $2.6 billion. He's paying a lady $84 million.
Chump change.
I want people to understand this is not going to break Donald Trump. He can make that back overnight. Okay, he's not going to fuss about 86 or $84 million. It may upset him because he has to pay a lying crap bag called a female some money, but it's not going to really affect his bottom line. He'll get that back in less than no time just by doing his own thing. So he's not worried about her, and no one's worried about her. Fani, however, and I'm not going to call her Fani. I'm going to call her what her name looks like, Fani, because she's butt. Fani has a bigger issue on her hands. Now, here's the problem. If they find impropriety with Trump's case, people who have been tried by Fani before can go back and see if there was impropriety in their case. Heaven alone knows how many people she's tried and gotten arrested and put in prison under false pretense.
Sounds like, typical Democrat thing, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who does that remind me of? It's someone familiar.
There was another black chick, not black chick.
Camel
toe. Camel toe Harris.
Yeah. Yes. Her.
Yeah.
It's what they do.
Ain't that weird?
The one thing that this whole thing, when it comes out, is her reputation is done. Regardless if they, remove her from office, regardless of all that, which is going to happen somewhere down the line. But her reputation is done. It's tarnished. So, it's going to be very hard for her to be over any case whatsoever. So she might as well just quit because no one's going to want her at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not even as a public defender. They're going to be like, oh, no, I heard about you.
Mm-hmm.
It is an interesting... Now the thing is, everyone's going after... And I find it... I don't find it weird, but I find it hilarious that when you look at the new, I want you guys to do this for just 1 second, okay? I'll give you the time to do it. I will even let you get some time away from Savage Patriots for just to do this. Go type in Donald Trump and see if you see any channel covering Fani Willis versus the $83 million he has to pay. Go and see if any of them are looking at the fact that she is doing something inappropriate versus what he has to pay. They're harping a lot on this fact that he has to pay money. But what they don't realize is that that's not going to really affect anything that has to do with the election.
Right.
Because if you've heard that lady talk, there's something not right with her head, like at all.
Yeah.
Crazy for real.
And it's a typical tactic when it comes to these elitists, the propaganda machine we call the mainstream media, is that they move the goalposts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, well, this case is shot. We're done with this, but let's promote this one that really is nothing. It is, but it isn't. What I mean by it is the amount of money he had to pay, to those little folk. So let's blow this up. And this is just another tactic to try to smear the man, because they know the big smear that they was trying to get is not going to work. It's done. Dead in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be the one, this little 83, 86 million. If you go to any social media platform, mainly, TikTok, you're going to hear it regurgitated over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I want to find her statement. I know this is about Fani, but this is important too, because this will affect. This is what they're going to do. I think this was passed in order to deflect from the fact that they are going to eventually get Fani Willis.
Mm-hmm.
They have to start, but mind you, the judge that did this is a Clinton-appointed judge, by the way, just so you know. So it is a Democrat-leaning judge. Of
course.
So it's just a kind of an interesting thing that they would dump this now, when in actuality, the bigger picture is that none of this will affect what they hope it will affect, which is the public view of Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point, they can't avoid the inevitable, whether you back Donald Trump or not. I think the biggest issue here is that he will be the front runner, and he's already the front runner in all of this. It's not going to be they're not going to stop this at all.
No.
The train is going to keep moving. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. It's going to seem interesting, Panda.
Yeah, I agree. They should have known for years, when all this stuff was coming out about Donald Trump back about 2-3 years ago, even when he was president, before he was president, all this started, and it never stopped him. It never stopped this base. It never stopped this momentum. And it's gotten even stronger now that more and more people are starting to see that our judicial system is a two-tier system, and it's right there in front of their faces. So they're just going to continue, and more people are going to start jumping over to Donald Trump's side, because then they're going to see at some point it was like, man, they're just going after this guy. They're throwing everything in the book at him, and they're really trying to get rid of him. And good on Democrats though. They're just helping the movement out.
I found it, and I'm going to play this for you because it's hilarious. It is hilarious stuff. It's worth watching.
Hmm?
Oh my gosh. Ugh.
Jeepers.
All right, here we go.
Why would I even try to think what he was thinking? Anyway, so he pushed me, held me with his shoulder, and I was wearing a coat dress and tights, and he pulled down the tights. And so that's
he pulled it with both hands, with one hand.
One.
Liar.
And that was when it turned serious. I realized that this was a fight. And even though I can talk about it now and put words to it, at the time the adrenaline is pouring through me, and all I want to do is right.
How would you describe? What were you? You said you were obviously.
Now understand this. This man knows she's lying. Okay, this is why he's handling it with such kid gloves and talking the way he's stuttering.
Mm-hmm.
He knows she's lying.
Yeah.
None of what she says makes any sense. Okay, nothing. Absolutely nothing of what she said makes sense. But you can tell that even Anderson's like, golly, how do I get out of this one?
Why are you doing this to me, guys?
Yeah, right.
Jesus.
You put me in a position here, man.
Surprise, fighting.
Right.
Were you scared? Were you
angry? I was too panicked to be scared.
Oh, liar.
What?
Too panicked to be. Wait.
How does that work?
Too panicked to be. Somebody help us out here. Yeah, help me out here.
Yeah, somebody help me make sense.
Somebody.
Hey, chat. Can you clarify this, please?
You
said adrenaline was pumping.
I assume it was because I got
what?
He's 6'3". Apparently, I've looked it up. I was about 6'1" in the massive heels I was wearing, and so.
Then she just said she assumed she was.
Not just 2 minutes before she was like, adrenaline was pumping.
I was too panicked to be afraid, but then I don't know if adrenaline was or not, but it was, but it wasn't.
I
Make
assume
sense,
it was.
So, if you study human behavior and you study movements, and I'm not an expert on it, but, I do read up on a lot, and I do, look at human behaviors, and I watch videos on how to tell someone's lying or someone's telling the truth, and they're all out there for anyone to watch. All her filler words, right? If something that's that traumatic, usually, yes, there might be some memory loss, but it's not that traumatic to the point to where she's up here on news, not crying, not freaking out. She's just, blah, blah,
Oh,
blah, blah.
it gets so much better though.
No eye contact. Look,
We were even almost
It gets so much better when she starts talking.
even in height. And down go the tights. And it was against my will. And it hurt. And it was a fight.
And this is not a question I would normally ask, and if you don't want to answer, I totally understand. But given the prior accusations, which have all been of forms of assault or harassment, you're saying there was actual penetration.
Now, the pause.
Did you?
She can't say yes, right?
She can say yes, right? That's how she just.
Let's go with yes. Let's go with.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, if there's penetration against your will, would that be considered rape?
By definition, that should be.
Okay. Now here's her definition.
Puts it into a different category of any of the other women who have come forward. I think that is the definition of rape. One definition.
That's the definition. Yes.
Okay, one. Have we seen Melania?
Yes, we have.
We've all seen Melania.
Yes.
There is no way this adjustable 1.5 is ever going near Trump. Trump would not even bat an eye toward this chick. Come on.
It's pretty obvious that she's making some stuff up. I'm not taking away
sure.
from the fact that maybe she was in a room with him. Maybe but I don't think he went that far. I don't think so. And she couldn't even she didn't even know the definition of rape. She kept looking off to the side, looking up. She was just nodding her head. Just if he did it, you should be able to sit there and tell your story. Here's
just
what happened.
fine. Just fine. You should be able to. Yeah.
This happened, and I remember it was about this time, maybe around this time. There's going to be some stuff maybe she forgot if it did happen that was traumatic for her. But I don't know, man. It just didn't seem like she was telling the truth. I don't know. I'm not, I don't know. But to me, it looked like she wasn't telling the truth.
Okay, I'm gonna do this for everyone to understand how CNN. Now that one was on CNN's podcast. Okay. Now the problem with that is that CNN cut right there the interview. They did not show the entire interview. So right after that, they faded to black, right?
Yeah.
Well, the problem with the fading to the black thing is that that's not where she stopped talking. This is where she stopped talking. Okay, this is what she actually said right after that, which is why I was saying it got better.
You don't feel like a victim.
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
But I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We've
Just
take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more.
We're going to take a quick break real quick.
Somebody bring her handler in here. Fix her.
The gay white liberal man was flustered.
Bro,
what the heck was that? He had to take a break. He was probably even like,
word,
and I'm
bro.
not a fan of Anderson Cooper at all. But even he was like,
I felt for him. Right there.
Let's take a break. We're gonna take a break and let you get your thoughts together. We got to coach you real quick before you come back on camera.
How are you so how are you such a type of person that you make the gay white liberal guy flustered? Anderson Cooper was uncomfortable. How do you do that?
She's like,
that's an accomplishment, man. That's an accomplishment.
It is.
She goes, I wasn't thrown on the ground and ravished. But she said he put his shoulder on her and pulled down her tights.
Yeah, he did all that, but it wasn't ravishing.
But he didn't ravish her. So pulling down her tights would be considered a form of ravishing, right?
Well, not to her, because
okay.
And yeah, she did say most people think of rape as sexy. Yes. I don't know anyone like that, but maybe she rolls in a different circle than most. I don't maybe she rolls in circles that belong to this lady.
Yes.
Okay.
Big Shirley.
She has something to say.
Charged in the indictment is charged with 1 count of violating Georgia's racketeer influenced.
Now, mind you, this
Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is the Georgia prosecutor who has brought charges against former President Donald Trump and a bunch of other people over efforts to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia. Earlier this month, one of the defense attorneys in the case filed a motion that seeks to remove Fani Willis from the case because it alleges that she has been involved in an inappropriate romantic relationship with Nathan Wade, who is a special prosecutor whom she hired to work on this case. While neither Willis nor Wade has addressed the allegations of an improper relationship,
I wonder why.
Last week, there was a filing in Wade's divorce case that included credit card records that showed that appeared to show that he had purchased plane tickets for himself and for Fani Willis to travel to Miami and to San Francisco during the time since he was hired as a special prosecutor in the
there's this saying, it might be a saying. If you're going to go after somebody and try to ruin their career or ruin their life, you better make sure you don't have some skeletons in the freaking closet.
True.
Because you got to understand that the minute you try to go after somebody, whether it's false, whether it's real, true, they're going to go after you and they're going to search and they're going to find. So if you're going to go after, especially someone like Donald Trump, you better have a clean bill of health because his team is going to find it. I'm just saying. And he has the money to do it. And she didn't cross her T's and dot her I's because she got caught. Pie all in her face right now.
And some pretty hefty, wet, juicy pie, too.
Creamy pie.
Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee has given Willis and her team until February 2nd to respond to the motion. And then he has set a hearing for February 15th, during which he will hear arguments on whether or not Willis should be disqualified.
If the district attorney is disqualified under Georgia law, all the attorneys in her office also are disqualified. So the case comes to a complete halt. Then there's a process where a state agency has to appoint a special prosecutor, which could mean considerable delay. And then that special prosecutor is going to take a fresh look at everything. And that special prosecutor, who's being appointed by our state government, might decide to reduce some of the charges or dismiss some of the charges or dismiss the whole case. But the question is, does she have a personal interest which creates a substantial risk of interfering with her effective representation of the people? And of course, the theory here that she's making decisions to generate money for Wade would obviously suggest that she's making decisions not exclusively in terms of
the case
of her professional obligations as a prosecutor, but also the more she comes under attack, the more it becomes a problem. Is she making decisions to protect herself, her reputation, her political future, versus making decisions about what's best for the people of Georgia prosecuting?
And don't think this is where it stops, because once they start digging that hole and they start going down that rabbit hole, they're going to continue to go down. and they're going to follow the money. They're going to do it. They're going to go, okay, Fani, okay, tied to this, goes all the way to the Clinton Foundation. And then they're going to be like, oh, so you're tied to the Clinton Foundation. You'll see a lot's going to come out, and it's going to be glorious to watch.
Look, it could go back to Barack. It could go back to all of it, not just the Clintons. I mean, this could link back to the DNC head. This could link all the way back to Biden. The amount of things that could be tributary to this being, it's unreal.
Yeah.
But it's par for the course. If you remember correctly, during the impeachment thing, all 2 times, there were multiple people brought before committees that were paid to be there. One in particular was that what was his name? He had a big old round face, military outfit all the time, and he didn't give any kind of real information about anything other than what he had heard someone else say about what they heard. And that's what they built their case on. I forget his name now.
Oh, that's Lieutenant Colonel
Vindman.
Yeah.
Vindman, yeah.
We call him Benedict Arnold.
Yeah, said nothing. He didn't have anything. And when he was actually pressed about information, well, I'm just telling you what I have about my information from what I know. But were you there? No.
So how do you know?
How do you know? And so that's how they build their cases. They build their case on hearsay and hope.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, hearsay and hope. And if they had a theme song, it would be Rubber Tree Plant.
Yeah.
They got high hopes.
And that's
behind the sky.
And that's a reason why, just in general, man, you never base something off of what someone else said.
Right.
You know, especially someone has a person, like if Marlon, let's say Marlon had personal vendetta against me. People on the outside don't know what's going on, but he tells you some stuff. You don't know if it's true. It might be true, it might not be true, but it's a personal vendetta that you know is there. Why would you believe someone with a personal vendetta, as Fani had against Trump, and you just run with it and believe what she's saying? You didn't read it, you didn't see it, you don't know. This is what you're told. That's not proof. And this is the problem with our system. They're just running with hearsay, like Marlon said, hearsay and hope, hoping that it'll stick in a court of law, and it hasn't stuck yet.
It won't stick either.
No, it's not. It's
not possible for it to stick. The reason it cannot stick is because it doesn't have any basis in reality.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put it to you this way. Donald Trump has money. Okay, if he wanted to, and this is I don't know how else to put this. If he wanted to do something about the 2020 election, say he was really mad about it and he wanted to end it and he wanted to overturn it, why would I waste time? If I have the money, I have the pull. Why would I waste time simply just talking about it instead of paying the money to do what I know needs to be done? Okay, if that was the case. Secondly, if I had plans to really start a coup the day of the inauguration, why would I say out loud to not have one? I have the backing of the people there. You said that the entire people, all of them that were there, were evil, and all of them were there for an insurrection.
Yeah,
and all of them were listening to Donald Trump. If only 10, how many people were there? About 10,000?
Yeah, it was a lot.
Okay, so let's say 3,000 people listened to Donald Trump, and he told 3,000 people storm the Capitol and take it down all the way to the ground. Don't leave nothing there. You don't think 3,000 people could have done that?
Easily.
3,000 people could have easily wiped out every guard because they didn't have any National Guards there. If he wanted to take 3,000 people in when I just say go get him and just overturn the American government, he could have done that right then and there.
Yep.
Right there.
Yeah.
And there would have been, here's the thing, there would have been nothing, not even the National Guard could have done, because he would have taken out the one person that would have been able to direct the National Guard. If Donald Trump was what you say he was, but he wasn't. But you have to create the idea for stupid people to follow. And the minions, the little clowns, the lemmings, they will follow you because they don't really do any research. They get paid, they take their money, and they go in their corner. That's what they do. So
they rely on the ignorance of the masses.
We call them antagonizers.
Yeah, and exactly. This is not going to go well for her. I am glad that somebody on the prosecuted side stood up and say, yo, what about this though?
Mm-hmm.
I am really glad someone, and you see, it wasn't someone from the outside. This was one of the people she was going after. They had some guts to say, no, you ain't gonna do that to me. We ain't playing that game. And we're gonna flip the script on you. So now what she do? She's staying real quiet. Remember, she's always in front of the TV. She's always trying to talk about what she's gonna do. All of us now, you ain't got nothing to say. For a boisterous black woman, you ain't got nothing to say? Huh? For all the Aunt Jemima and you do all around the town talking about what you're going to do and we going to impeach him, you ain't got nothing to say now? Now that somebody found you with your hand in somebody else's pants, you ain't got nothing to say. You're a whore. You ain't got nothing to say. Huh? Of course you won't have nothing to say. You're a fancy dressed whore. That's all you are. You're going to take other women's husbands. You sleep with them. The wife is already don't like you. And now you're trying to pay the man so he can take you on trips, so you can funnel money through the government. That's all you're doing. You're a whore. Just admit it. That's what you are. You're a government whore.
A one that thought she was untouchable, just like the rest of them. This is why they do stuff like this, because, it's a rules for thee, not for me mindset. I can do what I want. And no one's going to do anything. Why? Because I am the district attorney. What are they going to do to me? Oh, no. Here's what they're going to do. They're for one, they're going to embarrass you. Now you're, like I said earlier, your name is tarnished. Your reputation is done. You're embarrassed. Everybody knows that you're an adulteress. You sleep around other dudes' wives or husbands, other chicks' husbands, like Marlon said. So now you have to try to build that reputation, and you'll never be able to do it.
And Michael, you were saying about glass houses, right? Not make sure you got a clean slate. Well, observe.
Yep. You better not have them skeletons in your closet.
In her defense, she cheated before he was a coworker. See, she hired him after she banged him. So technically, they were already together by the time she hired him. So it's not really sleeping with a coworker. She slept with them before all that.
But wouldn't that be considered fraternizing?
No, not to her. That'd be that would be fattenizing.
Yeah.
Fattenizing.
I thought fraternizing was
that would be fattenizing because she's a fatty. Fattenizing.
Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis coming under fire for alleged misconduct. A new court filing shows the lead prosecutor in Trump's Georgia election interference case, Nathan Wade, bought flights for himself and Willis on 2 occasions, creating more buzz around their affair allegations. Madison Scarpino is live in Atlanta with the latest. This is really getting ugly, Madison.
Yeah, Griff, some new revelations linking DA Fani Willis and her special prosecutor, Nathan Wade, as lovers. In a court filing on Friday, the lawyers for Wade's estranged wife provided credit card statements that show purchases for both Wade and Willis. Now, there's plane tickets to Miami for the two of them in October 2022, flights to San Francisco in their name in April 2023, as well as cruises, hotel stays, and flowers.
The allegations are true. She's going to have her hands full with ethics issues and other things.
Also on Friday, the Fulton County Board of Commissioners has launched an investigation into whether or not Willis acted improperly when she hired Wade. Wade filed for divorce in 2021, the day after he was appointed special prosecutor by the DA. Wade has earned upwards of $650,000 since he started working on the case. The attorney for one of Trump's co-defendants alleges that Willis benefited from the money Wade is making from Fulton County. And what happens next will be up to the judge overseeing the Trump case.
If these allegations are true, could lead to a whole host of things that the DA doesn't want to happen. She could be removed from the case. She could be held to have a conflict of interest. The case could potentially be dismissed if it's so structurally unsound that it amounts to a violation of due process.
Willis has been subpoenaed in Wade's divorce case, but says that she shouldn't have to be involved. There's a hearing in Cobb County Court Monday morning to make that decision. Griff?
And what's amazing, Madison, is we may actually get to all watch this play out in a courtroom. Madison Scarpino, live for us in Atlanta. Madison, thank you.
So wait, you took the lady's husband, and when she is trying to call you into the divorce hearing because you are part of the reason they're getting divorced, you don't think you need to show up?
No, man, she's the DA.
Yeah, I don't think that has any pull in civil court. I don't. I don't think you being the DA has anything to do with you giving up them cheeks to somebody else's. I don't see how that plays out. No, okay. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
No,
go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, and here's something else. You know, if you're going to cheat, for you cheaters out there, don't buy plane tickets going to the same spot.
Yeah.
Don't buy cruise tickets
your
going
name.
to the same spot. You know what I mean? Just making it totally obvious that you're doing all this stuff. You didn't even try to hide it. You know, this is how bold these people are. Didn't even try to hide it.
In their defense, and I will speak because everybody knows my history. I'm not a hider. Okay. Yeah. I have twice of my story all over my YouTube page. So if you want to know anything about my history, you know me. I was a very, very, very horrible human being years ago. I was a cheater. I could tell you out loud. I have no problem admitting that because I'm not that no more. So I could admit what I was. And I will tell you this. When I was one, the one thing you did not want to do is to let the other person know that you were doing it. Or if you did want them to know, you didn't care. And so you would make sure to let them know because you thought you had power over the situation, or you really wanted out the situation, but the best way is to let them institute it, not you. And I think this was part of what he was trying to do, was let the wife file for divorce and not him. So she would end up looking like the bad guy. The problem is that when you are doing that kind of stuff, you slip up. It's inevitable because you can't look. The need for lust really is a lot worse than trying to cover up what you're doing. After a while, you stop caring. You just stop caring. You stop caring about who finds out and who knows and who doesn't know, and you just do your thing. With these two people, they stopped caring, and they thought because of the power she held, nobody would bring any kind of accusations against her because they were in fear of what kind of power she had.
That's right.
And that's what she was banking on until the wife got some, I don't know, a spine. And now you're being subpoenaed. All of a sudden, you're saying, I don't see why I got to come in. Why you got to come? I mean, I don't need to do that. Not me. No.
Yeah.
So this is why I tell people when I talk about stuff, it's not that I have not been on the opposite side of the egregious behavior. I have, and everybody should know this by now. I've said it before. So when this kind of stuff happens, when I talk about it, I know the mindset of these people. I know exactly what you think. Here's what you think. I'm not happy, but I don't really want to get out on my own accord because I will look like the bad guy. So what I'm going to do is to antagonize the other person enough so that they will have to do something about it and leave me to be the one that said, I didn't want out. I would have worked it out if they'd just, work with me. That's the excuse I'd give people. Knowing full well the reason you did what you did was so that they would do that so you wouldn't have to.
Right.
So now when the person does it and they come back at you and say, hey, look, I need you to testify. Oh, I didn't do nothing. It wasn't me. I mean, they would talk to your husband. That's how they work. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
This sounds like what do you call that personality disorder? A narcissist.
Narcissist, yeah.
That's what they do.
Yep.
They don't want to own up to their mistakes, so they reverse it and make you look like the villain by forcing your hand, and it forced his wife's hand to file for divorce, or she filed for divorce, right?
Yeah.
Forced her hand, even though he was the one out there doing all the stuff. Here's what I say about cheaters. I'll take you back. Then I'll show you how not to get caught.
Yeah.
Then I'll cheat and show you how to get caught. No, I'm kidding.
If you mean really, did I? Yeah. You can go, it's on right now. You can go right to my Straight Talk page. It's called My Story. It's right there for everyone to say. I'm not saying that I'm proud of that moment, but I also can't run from that moment because that was me. I'm not going to lie about the stuff that I've done because it was what I was. It's just true. Now I can say it because it's not what I am now, but I was that. And I was full headlong into doing everything I wanted for me and my thing, only always about me. I was definitely about me. I was a very selfish individual, 100% selfish. So when people like these two talk and they say, well, because I shouldn't have to, all that is a grandstand trying to divert attention off of them and trying to make you look at the lady who just went through a whole bunch of crap look like she's the one trying to act as though she's reaching for attention. Attention? Y'all wounded this woman.
That's right.
You wounded her, and all of a sudden, nothing? Nah. And now we're seeing what exactly her plan was. Now, if I wanted money as a DA and I wasn't getting enough, but I wanted to use the funds I got, that wasn't going to me because it's not part of my salary. It's for the case. The easiest thing to do is to hire somebody I know that will still give that money back to me.
That's right.
Who can I hire? Oh, my boyfriend. You know what? If it's my boyfriend and he never had this case tried before, this is a good time for him to get some experience. So here, I'll hire you and I'll pay you that money. And once I've given you that money, now we can go and do trips. And I can't do it on my salary, but I can do it on the government's salary. I paid him, so now he can take me. Now, if that's not impropriety on government side, I don't know what is. But you talk about racketeering, that would be racketeering.
Yeah,
it's always what
sure.
they accuse the people. Always what they accuse.
And it's interesting too that Fani had two other special prosecutors that she hired, one woman and a white guy. Where's the equality in that? Why didn't she sleep with the white guy?
Because she's a racist, flaming.
Yeah.
Well, he also probably wasn't married, so
it's possible.
That's a pull. True, Neil. Very true. You know, one day we need to have you on as a guest. Hit me up. I think it'd be a good idea. But with the advent of what's happening here with Fani, the biggest issue I see happening is if the case does get tossed, they have to come up with a brand new thing to stop Trump from running. This is what right now they're hinging all their bets on this racketeering thing, taking him to jail for a long period of time. The whole idea that they're going to get him on some kind of a fraud charge in Florida, that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Any of the other stuff they're trying to get him on for the election interference, they're not going to get him on. This particular
Carroll won't sit, you don't think?
No, he's already paid that out. It's already paid off. So she can't do anything more to him. Okay? She can't do anything more. It's done. So now all you're left with is hope that this will stick and go forward, but it can't. It can't go forward. The reason it can't is because now you have to investigate whether or not this was even brought up, because remember, she's on camera saying that she was going to do this. So if you're saying you're going to do something with no information, and then all of a sudden you find information. Okay. All right. That makes sense, that you just find info just sitting there.
Yeah, you just have it in a lockbox somewhere waiting for that magical moment.
Yeah. And this is exactly what it did with the whole impeachment thing, right? The Russia. They manufactured things, the Steele dossier. They came up with all kinds of information all of a sudden, right? Mind you, they never had any of this information beforehand.
That's right.
And as soon as he won the election, we got all kinds of information. Look at that, Russia. All of a sudden, they're doing it again. And this is what they do.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny to me. But I think if we keep tabs on this, I think what you'll end up seeing is that she will get removed. She'll get impeached. And all the people, I hope this is what happens. This last part is what I hope happens. I hope that everyone that she has brought any case against brings back a case against her and make her pay back every bit to the point where she is so destitute that she will long for prison and have her stay in there until she rots to death. That's the just punishment for people like her.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
punishment
it's
for her
just.
to rot in jail.
You look at the punishment she's given out, who knows how many people she's put away for years. So, once they relook at those cases, all that time that she gave people, she needs to serve all that time.
All of it.
So if it's 200, 300 years, whatever you want to call it, she needs to serve all that time because it's not just.
Yeah. Come Monday, though, I want to talk about the possibility of Michelle Obama running.
Big Mike.
And possibly taking Nikki Haley as her sidekick.
That's such a crazy prediction.
I see. If you go to Twitter and you follow Nikki Haley sounds like a Democrat on Twitter.
She's a Democrat. She is.
Yeah, that's what I keep responding to her stuff. I'm like, you're a Democrat. Just admit it. You're a Democrat. And I mentioned that. I said, you're probably going to be Big Mike's VP if he runs. I said that. I said, you're probably going to be Big Mike's VP if he runs. So, and if you look at the way she talks, man, like playing identity politics. right? Most conservatives or people that lean right, we really don't buy into that identity politics stuff. Are there some? Yes, there are some out there, but a lot of us don't. And she bought into that. And this is why I think she really is a Democrat. I think she's a plant. Funded by Hillary. Hillary's her idol, and she knows she's not going to beat Trump. She's just waiting for Big Mike to jump in the scene, that she's going to switch parties and go be Big Mike's running mate.
Yeah.
I mean, the donation alone that she received from what's his face, the guy who owned LinkedIn or something like that. What's his name? I mean, that alone should say something.
Okay, so if we are to talk about Nikki, there'll be a lot to talk about. First of all, from her, especially from her time as ambassador, because she did a lot of dumb stuff as an ambassador. But she did dumb stuff as far as a good ambassador, but par for the course as far as a Democrat goes. So that's why I think she'll fit the bill. She already talks their points. She already has their viewpoint. She followed. I mean, she's a fan of Hillary, so she's already in the boat. So we'll see if that has any merit. Maybe hopefully over the weekend they will come forward saying, "Oh yeah, this is who we're going to have instead of Joe," because none of them are sold on Joe running for re-election. They know it, and none of them have confidently said yes, Joe. They always come back to say, "Well, if you look at the record,
yeah." They're not excited about Joe, and I think Joe knows that he's not gonna be the nominee. I mean, it's pretty obvious he's not gonna be the nominee.
Right.
They're already in the back working on someone else to take his place. If the mainstream media is saying stuff like that, that means it's probably gonna happen.
Right. Look, my two options are this: it's either her, those two, or Gavin and Michelle.
Ooh.
It's either Gavin, Michelle, or Michelle and Haley. Now, the reason I say they would be better off to take Haley is that they can drag some Republican votes over to their side. I mean, it'll be the dumb Republicans, but they can still drag some. So they can split the ticket away from him if they play their cards smart, but they're not the smartest. So I don't really know.
They can take those a couple million votes. It's not going to change the outcome, and they're desperate right now. And this is why I think you're right about Nikki Haley jumping over and pulling in votes with her, because the establishment, I'm not just going to say the Democratic Party, they're part of the establishment, but the establishment as a whole, who's ever up there in charge, they're very desperate right now. And we know Nikki Haley is bought and paid for by the military industrial complex, the World Economic Forum, and all these other big money, entities. So if they tell her to jump, guess what she's going to do? She's going to jump. She's going to jump ship.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. It'll be very, very interesting to say the least. And I'm looking forward to it. I'll tell you that I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. So we'll talk Monday about that. And hey, Neil, if you are willing to join Monday, feel free to hit us up. We need to have you come talk to us a little bit about that. You might have some good insight since you are more in tune with the black culture and what they gonna look for.
Yeah. I said something on the last talk. I was like, you remember that scene from Clash of the Titans when the
release the Kraken.
Yeah, that's the Cabal's up there, and Zeus is looking around.
He does this. Release the Kraken.
You see Michelle Obama come out the ocean. Oh man, that's our picture. Release the Kraken.
I have another wrench I'll throw in, but I'll wait till Monday to fry your minds with an option of who else might be running.
Because when you hear that on the donkey side?
Oh yeah, on the donkey side.
Ooh. Who else they got?
Hey, like I said, I'll save the best for last. When you hear, you'll hear.
Oh my God.
The big Mike Haley combination itself is blowing.
Oh, just wait till you hear the other combination I think might happen.
Oh.
Just wait. You just wait. And I think it'll make more sense when you hear it too. So we'll see.
But we still stand by, Marlon, that
no election. Yeah.
No election.
Yeah, I still stand on that.
I still stand.
10 toes down.
Yeah.
10 toes down. I still stand on that.
3 legs down.
Yeah, we'll be back on Monday for sure. So look out for us. Then I will make the thumbnail before I forget. I'll do it tonight, so I don't have to ask these guys what the topic was. I'm gonna put myself a Big Mike and a Haley. I'll put them back to back like Charlie's Angels thing,
Have Zeus in a corner saying, "Release the Kraken."
Release the Kraken. Yeah.
Release the Kraken.
That'd be fun.
Oh, brilliant.
So anyway, we'll talk about all that come Monday. So guys, don't be a stranger. And Mr. Lee.
So like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all Monday.
Peace.